Well, also this morning, Holland Museum introducing its new Waves of Pride exhibit. And we've got Michelle Stimpy and their executive director joining us live to tell us all about it. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning to you. First, tell us all about Waves of Pride.
Sure. We are super excited to have this exhibition. It just opened over the weekend and it will be up until June 30th. And this exhibition called Waves of Pride, the impact of Out on the Lakeshore, really tells the story of the origins of Out on the Lakeshore, which is the local community center here in Holland that supports and provides a safe space for the Holland's LGBTQ plus community. So the exhibition talks about their history, how they developed, and what they're doing currently, their current programs, advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community. And also the exhibit talks about their future, what they're doing to continue to shape LGBTQ plus rights in Holland, and also the organization's vision for the future. The exhibition features some great artifacts, including a bench dedicated to the founding members of Out on the Lakeshore, their board members and other leaders. It also features the first pride flag that was flown outside the community center, which opened in 2017. And it also features some interviews from community members and staff at Out on the Lakeshore regarding the passage of the non-discrimination ordinance that passed in Holland in 2020. So this is just a really wonderful exhibition that talks about an important organization here in Holland and what it's going to do for the community in the future.
Wow, Michelle, really sounds like such a great idea because it's something that maybe is somewhat fairly new to the community, but you all said, hey, we're not going to wait to include this as the part of history that it's played for our community. Can you give us a little bit of that history of Out on the Lakeshore and just how long it has been around and what it does for the community?
Yes, it's been around. It's celebrating 10 years this year, which is another reason why we decided to do this exhibition now, because it's celebrating an important milestone here in Holland. And it's a community gathering space, physically in the building that it has, but it's also out in the community. It is advocating for the LGBTQ plus community, but it also provides a safe space. It has lots of amazing programs that it runs for members of the community of all ages. And it's just been become in a very short period of time and a very important part of Holland, its community. And we just really wanted to honor that.
And that's exactly what I mean. You know, a lot of times, sadly, it may take something being in existence or someone being around for 60 plus years before they get this type of attention. And this is obviously something really important, an important part of Holland's history. You all already recognizing that. Talk about that and why it's important for community members to see the role Out on the Lakeshore has played for Holland.
Yeah, it's because we talk about it here in the museum. You know, history's happening every day in Holland, and so it's really important to look at what's going on in your community today, not just what's happening 60, 50, 60 years ago. And part of the museum's mission is preserving our past and imagining our future. So we feel it's very important not only to look at those past years, but also what's happening today in Holland. And again, to highlight that, bring that to people's attention, and really honor what is going on in our community every day.
Well, we, of course, and you're hearing some sound right now. We're playing video of past Pride events right now, but let's talk about exactly what's happening today. It's, you know, at a time when those in the LGBTQ plus community might be feeling as though their rights are in jeopardy. What is the atmosphere right now for those in the community?
I think they're concerned, they're tense, and but we had a wonderful opening on Friday, and the director of Out on the Lakeshore, Jennifer Evans, spoke at that event, and there were lots of members of the Out on the Lakeshore board and members of the LGBTQ plus community who were there, and they talked about how important it was to have safe spaces like the museum, like Out on the Lakeshore, like other places, businesses, and there are lots of places here in Holland that are safe spaces for the LGBTQ plus community, and how important it is, especially right now, that people are stepping up and being allies to the community, and that how incredibly excited and inspired they were by this exhibition, and that we hope the rest of the community will be excited and inspired by the things that Out on the Lakeshore has done in the past 10 years.
Well, that takes me directly to my next question, Michelle, because some people might be confused about the need for these services. Why is there a need for a safe space, whether that be at the museum or other local businesses, as you mentioned? Why is that need there?
Well, there is a lot of tension between what people feel, how people feel about the LGBTQ plus community, and there are changes in the laws, and people are challenging the laws. There's being a challenge right now to the law for same sex marriage here in Michigan, and it is all the more important that the community, all the community, support and provide safe spaces for the members of the LGBTQ plus community, because they are being threatened. Their lives are being, and their lifestyles and the way that they live and who they love is being challenged. And we need to be allies and support the community.
Well, Michelle, I think another important part of that conversation when you talk about needing the support of the community and the need for a safe space is that sadly, oftentimes, that hate or being pushed away sometimes can come from loved ones and family members, even more so creating that need for that safe space. Can you talk about that?
Well, yes, you can find family and community hopefully anywhere. And that is all the more reason to have this kind of exhibition and organizations like Out on the Lakeshore, so people can find people who will support them and care for them when maybe there are others who won't, and they need to find their allies and their families and their community and their people. They just need to find their people.
Well, I'm sure that that's what those are the conversations this exhibit will spark, hopefully, making sure people know about those resources. Going back to the exhibit, anything else you want to share? Any special programming that's happening? People have plenty of time to get out and check it out.
They do. They have until June 30th. We will be doing some programming along with Out on the Lakeshore during their Pride series in the month of June. So you can check out our website, hollandmuseum.org, to find out more about those programs and, of course, more information about the exhibition and our hours and when the exhibit is open. And I just also want to thank our sponsors for this exhibition. We couldn't do this work without their support. This exhibition is a part of our Cultural Lens series, which is an ongoing series of exhibits, talks, performances that support the museum's mission to welcome everyone and their stories. And Cultural Lens is sponsored by Miller Knoll Foundation and Corewell Health. And the exhibit, Waves of Pride, is sponsored by Globe Design and Vision here in Holland. And so we are just really grateful to all of their support and to the community's support for the museum, because, like we were saying, it's a challenging time. It's a challenging time for the museum to do this kind of an exhibition. We've had some pushback, but we appreciate the community support for what we're doing to tell everyone's story.
All right, which says that it may be needed now more than ever. Michelle, thank you so much for having this also important conversation with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.